the love for food, that brings people together. I just want to do the best job that I can. Even if I'm as simple as a dishwasher, I'll be the best dishwasher.
Antonio Park is a successful entrepreneur and world-renowned chef.
A lot of people look up to you. A lot of people are inspired by what you do. They see the social media, they see the traveling, they see the restaurant, they see the work.
Not all of them did well.
Can we talk about that?
It's the best thing that happened to me.
Why?
But last year I opened the business, and in 6 months, I lost $1.8 million cash.
Are you okay with that?
Am I going to be the guy who's going to be hiding in my couch? No. You must stay positive. You don't learn much from success.
What's the backstory here?
I think all these things that came in my life made me who I am today. The relationship with my father was no relationship. What I mean by that is my father was there, but he never spoke to me. He never said, I love you, not even once. My mom never did either.
What have you learned from being a father today that you wish your father did more of with you? Chef Antonio Park, I am so excited to have this conversation with you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me, Samir.
Now that we've got the formality out of the way of like chef and host and all that stuff, we were talking about before we started recording what to formally call each other, but I feel like we're already friends. So Antonio, Samir, Antonio. You have an inspiring journey. A lot of people look up to you. A lot of people are inspired by what you do. They see the social media, they see the traveling, they see the restaurant, they see the work. What's the backstory here? Where did this all start?
It all started, wow, that's a long story going back. It all started when I was probably around 7 years old.
Mm-hmm.
My parents, obviously, born in Argentina, grew up in Argentina, Paraguay, and Brazil, and South America and Argentina. My parents used to have a business called Lavanderia.
Mm-hmm.
Lavanderia is a laundromat where they used to do floating acetone wash jeans. So in the 70s and 80s, you remember like Rian Wrangler?
Yeah.
They used to have these spots on the jeans, and that's what my parents used to do with their team, their staff, and we used to have about 50 to 100 people, depending on which week it was, which month it was. We always had 50 to 100 people working.
Wow.
In-house.
That's not a small operation.
No, that's like 60,000 washes a day.
Mm-hmm.
By hand. You have to step on it, you're like stepping on it, putting on a wooden wheel, washing with the stones, and then bringing it back, putting it on the sun, on the metal wire, hanging all the jeans. Yeah. It has to be metal wire because jeans are very heavy.
Okay.
So they have to
hold it.
They gotta hold it in, and we used to have acres of land in the back. But the thing is, every day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and like snacks, we all eat together.
Yeah.
My mom used to cook with her staff and with everybody who was there. She used to cook meals every day, from morning till night, working and cooking at the same time. It was a beautiful world.
Yeah.
And she used to have a farm in the back of the Lavanderia, which is pretty far, but you have to take this one wheel, kind of like trolley, and you put all the vegetables. And she used to have a little farm in the back, and we used to cultivate everything. Obviously, it's beautiful temperature, very warm, very sunny. So, vegetation is very, very easy. Agriculture is very easy on that. Easy saying it's easy to go and pick it up, but it's not easy to water every day and making sure that things
the work that goes into it. Yeah.
And I was in charge of, since I was like 6 years old, I was in charge of going there and picking up things, making sure that I choose the right onions, garlic, cucumber, watermelon, carrots, mango, you name it. There's bananas, there's a bunch of other things. And I used to, my mom used to cultivate all that, so I used to pick them up and put them in the trolley and then bring it in, and then they used to cook with that. So that's where really it started, right? Yeah. I saw all these vegetables growing from ground, and I used to just pick up an onion and just open them up, smell them, eat them. I remember cucumber. It was like, why is these cucumbers growing so fast? I used to do it that way, and just learn from my mom how to get it from the source. You know, learning from seeing it how it grows, learning it how, you know, they can be fresh, how you cultivate them, how you water them.
Yeah.
You know, does it have to be exposed to sun, not exposed to sun? So it's basically, I was a farmer.
Yeah.
My mom,
real education.
Real direct education, and she used to tell me, you know, and she used to tell me like, this is not ready yet.
Yeah.
Why did you bring this here? This you should have picked yesterday. And she used to tell me this at the age of 7 and 8. Not in a bad way, but you know,
to teach you.
Yeah, but the pain of going back and then bringing it back
made you learn very quickly.
Yeah. So that's how where kind of like the passion, the love for food, for vegetables, for anything that has to do with cooking came, because I bring the vegetables and then my mom is butchering her chicken, you know, filleting her fish and things like that, and I watch them and I help them out. I help them not on filleting things, but peeling the garlic, you know, peeling the onions.
Is that where you developed your love of cooking?
That's where I developed the love of cooking.
And from there, you just...
It was like, you know, if you have 50 to 100 people every day eating together and cooking together, basically that's a restaurant.
Yeah.
Every day.
Very much, yeah.
Yeah, every day. So, and it's breakfast, lunch, dinner. So
And
it's a full service restaurant.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's self-service because you clean your own thing, you know. I'm not gonna clean your shit. So yeah, it was just, you know, learning how to marinate things. It was very basic, traditional Korean food that she used to do, and then slowly got involved with the South American cooking. You know, we used to, you know, buy a quarter of a cow, put it on the fire, and slowly roast during the whole day, and then at night we eat that.
Yeah.
I remember, you know, burning myself on grills all the time, and you know, we used to steam yuca. I don't know if you know what yuca is. It's called mandioca.
Okay.
It's a root.
Okay.
Other people call it cassava.
Okay.
It's kind of different. Yuca, mandioca, and cassava, kind of the same family, but kind of like different also.
Okay.
Different sweetness, different flavor, different size.
Yeah.
But we used to call it mandioca over there. Mandioca is a language that comes from Guarani. And we used to, you know, eat that with the meat and a simple salad, which was just, you know, lettuce, tomatoes, and onion.
Mm-hmm.
The vinaigrette was oil, salt, pepper, and a little bit of limon, which is lemon. It's funny, when I came here, I was like, oh, there's lemon and lime. But in South America, in Argentina, we have limon, but we don't have lime.
Yeah.
That was a bit funny, yeah. So but it was pretty cool, and that's where my passion grew more and more. Eating with them, conversation, bringing the crew together. I think that's what a lot of things happens in the restaurant system, where we call it a restaurant team, we call it a family, and a lot of restaurants don't have staff meals. A lot of people don't eat together during staff meals. I think those are very important cultures to cultivate, because
workplace cultures.
Yeah, you sit down, you eat together, you talk about, you know, life. Sometimes it's personal life, but you know, life. Talk about life itself, experiences in life, what you're doing in the future, what you did yesterday, and that brings people together.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to do as much as I can. Obviously, very busy times, but I want my team to always, you know, have a staff meal together and eat together and spend time together. You know?
Which is a really nice thing. I worked in the restaurant business briefly, like 3 years, and we didn't do staff meals. And I found, you know, when you talk about that, it certainly brings people together. When you break bread with someone, that's how you really get to learn them. Yeah. That's how you get to know them. And if you're the one leading that, it also makes them really want to be part of
the family. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I think it's really inspiring that you do that.
Yeah. It's not very hard to do, by the way, because you're eating at home.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of the things that's kind of like, I feel sad about what's going on today. Life took another step. Work took another step in our lives. And, I remember when I was a child, in my early, before 10 or even until before I was 15, it was always family meal. You cannot miss your family dinners. That was like, you miss that, you're getting a hell of a whip from dad. So, but those things doesn't really exist today as it used to exist 30, 40 years ago. Even 20 years ago, I think it existed. And I'm trying to bring that back. I'm trying to do everything that I can to bring that community back, that family back together. The relationship that I used to have with my, grandparents. I want my children to have the relationship with my mother. And it's very hard to connect that these days. Obviously, social media took a huge hit on that and came on a different way. But like, we have our somehow today there's specific days that you're gonna have your family dinner, Thanksgiving, Christmas dinner,
but there's not a lot of them in between.
But that's supposed to be every day. That's everyday life for a family, because that's how you get to know the other person that is in front of you more. I might not know the names of probably 90% of my clients. How could I know all of the clients, all the customers that I have? But how about if I tell you, I know maybe 10% of their names, but how about if I tell you I know 70% of their dietary restrictions? Isn't that funny? So I don't know their name, but I know what they like, what they eat. You
really get to know
what their children like. So they're like, I might not know your name, but I do know you. It's like really fun. I find it exciting. I find it fascinating, and I also find it very important to know that side of human.
So before you became the chef that's sitting in front of me today, when you started off your career, what was that process like? You started working in the food industry,
dishwasher,
worked your way.
Worked my way up. I don't know if that was the way that I was thinking, is I'm gonna work my way up. My life was never like that. My life was like, just put whatever in front of me and I'll just try to do my best. I won't complain. Even if I'm as simple as a dishwasher, I'll be the best dishwasher. If I have to clean the cups and, clean the wine glasses, clean the tables, clean the dishes, clean a fish, harvest something, I just want to do the best job that I can. And that kind of like translated into the business model that I have today. Is not, there's 24 hours in a day. That will not change. I had a very deep conversation one day. The first time that I met a very close friend of mine. And I still remember this. I was in the basement of my restaurant, the first restaurant that I opened. It was the first year that I opened. I went downstairs in my basement, and it's like a storage where we put like Coca-Cola and beer storage, right? I sat down one chair like this after service with Antonio Esfandiari. I don't know if you know Antonio Esfandiari. He's a poker player.
Oh, that's
They call him the magician.
Yes.
And we had a moment together, and I told him about what my life was and things like that, and certainly along the way he kind of helped me in different ways to understand the things, but he kind of like put me the message of the 24 deck of cards. So the 24 deck of cards means the 24 hours of your one day. You put aside the 6 hours, the 8 hours to sleep, rest, clean up, and do things. You put 2 hours for eating. So if you play the deck of cards really well in your life for the 24 deck of cards, then you're kind of like systemizing your life and living it in a good way. But it's not easy, right? It's not always easy to say, okay, I'm gonna eat it this time, that time.
Life throws you a curveball, and
But if you have fundamentally an idea that your 24 deck of cards is 24 days and you put aside certain deck of cards that is important for you, it's going to make your life better and easier.
And that's the way you live your life today.
I try. It helps me a lot. And I always think about it. Just the fact of thinking about that, it's already a good thing.
Yeah.
Because if you're not thinking at all.
Well, not, that's a different problem. It sounds like you're a lot more intentional with the way you plan your days.
I have to. Well,
today. As you get busier.
Yeah. It's just better for me. But at the same time, it makes me a better person. So we are... I always tell to people, like, dude, we're like, oh man, you're yesterday was yesterday, today is today, tomorrow is tomorrow. But yesterday is the past. So today you should be better, and tomorrow you should be even better. So if you live your life in that motive, then you are going to become a better person. Such as a very clear example. When you were born, you can't turn. You're just laying down. And then you start turning. And then you start crawling. And then you hold something and you step up. And then you start walking. And then you start running. So even baby and children do that with the progress of getting better. Yeah. We as an adult, we all know more than that. So how can we not learn from our past, what happened, and just become better in the future?
Absolutely. Such a simple thing that you think about and you go, oh, okay, there's a path to becoming a better version of myself.
Yes.
How do you balance? So maybe before I ask that question, can you sort of list off all the different ventures you currently have going on?
Oh my God!
Because I want to showcase that and then ask you how you balance all of that.
I have a little bit with story. Obviously, there's things that happen in throughout the life, but I opened Park right after opening Park. That was in 2012. We're going on our 13th year. Yes.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. I'm just pushing my team is great. My family is great over there. Just is a tremendous happiness to me, and thing that I would never even imagine that this could happen in the future. And I'm very grateful and I'm very thankful. That's putting aside that I opened my second venture kind of like in a different way. I got into a supper club business that's called Flygen in Montreal. So understanding the nightlife and the day life with the food.
Yeah.
I got to learn a lot from that, by the way. I also got to learn in many different ways. The camera went off. Is that okay? Is that normal?
We're good on the cameras? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's sorry to say that.
No, that's good. Thank you for asking.
I learned a lot of the system of clubs and nightlives are in the basement.
Okay. What do you mean?
A lot of clubs are in the basement.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah. So they're more darker.
Yeah.
Closed, soundproof and all that. And I was thinking always in my head, how would my boys and girls and my team do things in the basement? So basically, you're going to work in a basement. It's not fun.
Doesn't sound fun.
Yeah, it's not fun. But after I have a chef Kim there still today, after 10 years, and he's still there. So I'm very thankful, and I'm like, I applaud them, for doing what they do. Just a corner story that I wanted to talk about him, because he's just been a rock for me. And then after we opened 2 restaurants kind of together, it was Jatoba and Lavanderia. Lavanderia was out of the memory of South America, Argentinian food, brunch, lunch, and dinner. That was just out of passion. Somewhere where I wanted to go eat all the time.
Yeah.
I want to eat asado, chorizo, parrilla completa, mollejas, chinchulín, morcillas. There's certain things that I want to eat. Chipas, the cheese bread. So I opened out of that memory from South America. I just opened it, and And then I opened Jatoba. I had a chef. His name is Olivier Vignon. He was my sous chef prior to Park. I used to work in a restaurant called Kaizen in Montreal, and he was my sous chef, and he also became CDC, chef de cuisine at Park. And at one point, you realize that your student is becoming better than you. So when somebody becomes better than you, you have to give him wings to fly. You cannot keep him. So I've decided to open a restaurant for him, with him together. He's a partner today.
Wow.
He's been there for 10 years also, almost 10 years. Wow. That time just flew. And
it's a very unique way of doing things, empowering another person.
Yeah. And I didn't overstep, by the way. And that's a lot of the mistakes that a lot of people do. They overstep because they believe the ego comes in before, and so they became they think they're superior than others, but nobody's really superior than others. We're all the same. We all breathe the same air. Nothing should make a difference on that. And he became a rock star. He's a great chef, and hands down, he's a better chef than me. I know that, and that's what I want. That's what I love the most, is that I always look at young chefs, and not all the chefs will stay with me, by the way. You know what happens, right? Everybody has their personality, their life, and their different ideas, their ambitions, and they go different ways. But those who were with me, I always told them this: my goal and my wish is for you to be better than me. How could you not be better than me? You want to learn something, I give you everything you want to learn. On top of it, your knowledge comes on top of it. So you automatically should be better than me. If you're not better than me, then for me that's a failure. You have to surpass your master. You have to surpass. I'm not a master, but I'm a teacher. I'm a mentor. I'm somebody who's when I learn also from them, by the way. This is the real fun part of it, is that you are teaching something to them, but later on that teaching comes back to you, and you learn from them. And that's the real beauty of humanity, and also the real beauty of being the chef, being a cook in the kitchen. After that, we open another place called Kampai, which is a beer garden. And then, I can't keep on pushing. I opened a food hall in Montreal called Cathcart at the Place Ville-Marie. Now I'm just confused. I'm just everywhere.
Yeah. Okay, so
I opened a restaurant in Seoul, South Korea, called Centre, and then I opened West Food in Laval, AP in Toronto, Pick 6 in Toronto. Not all of them did well, by the way. I have failed.
Can we talk about that?
It's the best thing that happened to me.
Why?
Because you learn. You don't learn much from success. You can't. I always tell my children. My eldest one is 17 years old today. He's Alexander Park. My second daughter is 16 years old, Naomi Park. And I always tell them, go to places where it's not great. Because if everything is great, you won't learn much. Where the places where it's not great and small, you'll learn a lot more, because you're going to make a lot of mistakes like they did.
Yeah.
And by making mistakes, that's where you really learn the progress of being better and becoming better. Yeah.
So what was the biggest thing you learned from how many quote unquote failed ventures from those ones? What's the biggest lesson you've taken away from them?
Oh, I failed. Some of them I failed dramatically. And I'm not, everybody says, it's not all, don't take it on you. It's not all your fault. But at the end of the day, I take it as everything is my fault, because it's my project. Even if you say our project, with our project, if we did well, then we did well. But if we failed, I take it in and I say I did not do well. Depends on how people digest things. Okay. Depends on how people take it. I like to take it that way. I like to take the heat, and I like to I've lost a lot of money, by the way, on losing these businesses. And does it hurt? Yeah, dude, of course. Of course, and big time. A major.
Ego, money.
Major, yeah. Just
reputation, all that.
Just, and we're, and I've done a lot of things that became very successful. But I've also done a lot of things that I failed a lot. For instance, a very simple thing. Last year, I'm not going to name it, obviously. I have other ventures that I kept on doing it. But last year, I opened the business, and in 6 months, not even in 6 months, probably, in 6 months, let's say plus or minus 6 months, I lost $1.8 million cash. Wow. My own money. And am I going to be the guy who's going to be hiding in my couch and saying, why did I do that? I lost. No. You can't change the past. I keep on saying this. You can't change the past. You can change today and tomorrow. You can learn from the past. You can be better than the past. So you learn from that mistakes, and then you move on forward. The idea of losing $1.8 million in 6 months and moving forward, how do you think of it? Dude, I went to a very expensive university for 6 months. that taught me the real life on things to do it.
It's a good way of looking at it.
Yeah, it hurts. It still hurts, by the way. I can't say it doesn't hurt, but will it be something that's going to stop me from moving forward? Absolutely not. No,
So if someone's listening to this or watching this is looking at getting into an entrepreneurial venture, whether in the hospitality industry or anything for that matter, because this lesson transcends all industries here, and they're about to embark on something and they have to take that risk, what would you say to them?
Take that risk.
How do
take that risk? You don't know the future. There's people tell me, don't partner with him, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, don't do that. At the end of the day, either you're going to do it or not. There's two answers, right? There's no in between.
No.
It's either you do it or not. If you do it and you've succeeded, good. Move on. Try to make it better now.
Right.
If you fail, there's the word that says, do not give up. Do not give up. When it comes to business and money, if you're bleeding a lot, give up.
Well, there comes a time where you should just say, okay.
Just close the books.
Yeah.
Close the books and find something else and move on.
Yeah.
Because if you keep on bleeding, a sinking ship is much harder to rise it up above the water. Than having a boat that is already on top of the water and making it, stronger and stronger.
Yeah.
So the way that I see it is, I don't have the answers to everything, but if you're bleeding a lot in a business and you're stressed every day, you can't sleep, you're not being a good father, a good husband, a good wife or anything, give up. Move on and build something else. That's not really giving up on life. That's giving up on that small business.
How do you build the emotional resilience to come back from that? I mean, when you talk about losing $1.8 million in cash, that's money that some people will never see in their lives. So when they hear that number, they go, holy shit, that's a huge number. You're sitting here with a smile on your face as you tell the story. How do you build
broken here.
How do you build the emotional resilience to move past that and go, I'm closing the books on this, I'm going to start something else?
It's just every day being positive.
What do you say to yourself?
I woke up this morning. I'm still alive. Let's move forward. I'm not dead. That was just a mountain that you just climbed and you came down. Let's climb another mountain. In business, to me, the way that I see business is, and I'm talking about restaurant business, right? In a restaurant business, it's like a box of milk.
Mm-hmm.
It has an expiry date to it. You do not know when the expiry date of your restaurant is, but there is an expiry date to it. It might be an institution for 30, 40 years, but it's still 30, 40 years expiry date on it.
Yeah.
That's a restaurant business. And restaurant business it's a very fragile business, by the way. The customer can be happy 100 times, have the best time for 100 times. And if the 101st time was his worst service, worst food and everything, that person might not come back.
And then go tell their friends about it too.
Yes, and it's very fragile business. So you have to be always on top of your game. And most importantly, you must stay positive. Because if you're not positive, all those things are going to pull you down to the ground.
This summer, it's about creating unforgettable core memories with the ones you love. With Ninja's lineup of outdoor appliances, you can feel confident outdoors and own the summer with your favorite people. The Ninja Woodfire Pro Connect XL outdoor grill and smoker lets you monitor and control your cooking right from your phone. With 30% more space, you can minimize time spent cooking and maximize time spent making memories. Reimagine outdoor cooking with the Ninja Woodfire 8-in-1 outdoor oven. From no-turn, no-fuss pizzas to perfectly charred steaks in under 7 minutes, enjoy all at the touch of a button. Relax and savor every moment while your food cooks to perfection. Own the summer and simplify your outdoor cooking and entertaining and create cherished memories with Ninja's outdoor appliances. Check out their outdoor line on ninjakitchen.ca. How do you identify a good business opportunity? What's your process when someone approaches you about an idea or you're coming up with an idea for yourself? What are some of the things that you do to say to come to the conclusion of this is a good idea or it's nice but it's not going to work?
In the restaurant industry, it's a little bit different. The other, in the tech business and things like that, obviously you have your technology that is moving forward. There's some investment that I did on artificial intelligence, and AI is the future for me, and it's going to move forward. That's an investment on the long term. But on the restaurant business, you don't know. You don't know until you do it.
Okay.
You might have the best chef in the world with you. Like I'm considering myself right now when talking to you as a business entrepreneur, not a chef. Okay. So let's say I find the best chef and the best manager in the world, and let's say I open for what I believe is going to be the best restaurant in the world.
Yeah.
If that relationship doesn't do well, you failed. If they don't have the understanding of food costs, labor costs, the back end, all the expenses that goes in the restaurant, you have failed. So today you have to be a little bit more than just a chef. You have to understand the business.
To be an entrepreneur.
But a restaurant, at the end of the day, a restaurant is a passion business.
Yes.
It's not really a business. It's a passion business. There's some structure that you make it to become a business, such as franchises, multiple businesses, or you create, a different way of opening yourself to create multiple brands. That's a different story. But when it comes to one restaurant yourself, that's a passion business. But still that passion business today, because of what happened after the pandemic. Before the pandemic was showing us a little bit, but after the pandemic really hit us with, labor cost increase, tax increase, rent increase, the food costs
skyrocketed.
The food costs just went up. So the margins, what we used to make pre-pandemic to today, is probably half of what you used to do, right? So it's at the end of the day, you have to think well what you want to do. And the other thing about the one restaurant that you want to open with the best chef and the best manager is how much time are they going to put into that? But in today's world, time is no longer what it used to be. They don't want to work from 8 a.m., nor me, nor you. Nobody wants to work from 8 a.m.
till 8 p.m., 9 p.m.
till midnight.
Yeah.
9 a.m. till 1 o'clock, midnight. Yeah. Who wants to do that anymore? So you can say, oh yeah, like that person does. As a self-owned business, if you're the owner and you're living there, it's okay. You're living there. Your mother is in the kitchen. Your father is in the kitchen. They love that. They love to do that. Make people happy. That's one business, and you can survive and make a family business out of that. And it's beautiful, by the way. But if you're going into the restaurant business to make money and to have other intentions in the future, it's a wrong business.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you're saying anybody who wants to go into making money in the restaurant, like anyone who opens up a restaurant is doing it for passion, not for money. And if they're doing it for money and then passion,
well, it's two different things. If you're doing for money, you have to do for money. Corporate,
I see the franchise,
franchises model.
I see,
There's this model, right?
Yeah.
Which is also very, very good. But
Sure,
this,
yeah.
you have to really understand the business side of it
Right.
and how to grow. And you need a good funding. You need a
lot
good
of
backing.
upfront
Yeah, you need a
capital.
good backing from behind to be able to move forward, because you have the marketing plan, PR plan, and all the other things, the training.
Yep.
So there's a lot of things that comes with it. But if you want to open one restaurant where it's a mom and pop shop, but a lot of people do it so artisanally, right?
Yep.
This today, that works. Yeah, that works.
Can mom and pop shops survive today?
Absolutely, they can,
Why?
if they put the hours.
Yeah, if they overwork.
yeah. They have to overwork. There's mom and pop shops cannot work. And first of all, it cannot be called mom and pop shops if mom and pop is not there with their children
Fair. Yeah.
or their cousins
Right.
or their nephews. Or,
Yeah. It
somehow.
literally has to be a family business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that works. That will make, you will make a living out of it. Absolutely, you'll do. Yeah. But to open a big restaurant where you're putting in, it's not everybody has the same idea as you, where you want the restaurant to succeed. For a lot of the people out there, they want to succeed, but they also want them to succeed.
Yeah.
So you're not in the same page, right?
Which I think is an important distinction to be made, because when you're the entrepreneur, you're the one taking the risks, you're opening up a new venture. Your reason to succeed is your livelihood.
Yeah.
For some people who come and join you on this journey, their version of success is, in 2 weeks I got a paycheck.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
And to be fair, there's also nothing wrong with that, because
No, there's nothing
that's
wrong.
what they want.
You're living your life. That's why I say
Yeah.
they have their own life to live.
Yeah.
So, the owners of the restaurant will have their own life to live and their own dream to grow.
Yeah.
But the person who's working in there, which I was one of them before, and we were all one of them before, we also have dreams that we want to do something else in the future. But for me, this is where it becomes really interesting. If you're working for somebody, and you believe in that owner or that boss, work better than him. If you're a dishwasher, be the best dishwasher in the world. If you're a commis, be the best commis in the world. If you're a sous chef, be the best sous chef in the world. If you're a waiter or a busser, be the best waiter and the busser in the world. Then when you'll be somewhere in the future, I promise you this, you will 100% be somewhere in the future, because you have the right motives. You have the right positivity to go forward, and to go forward somewhere where even the owners are not there yet. And one way or the other, when you need cash and when you need money to build your own successful business in the future, they will be there to back you up, because they've seen you do the effort that you're putting it in. So it's not very difficult, by the way. Success is sometimes doesn't have to start from you. It can start from somebody else. You make them successful. You stand behind them, and you surpass them in the future.
Interesting. It's an interesting model, and it touches on the model that you talked about earlier of giving wings to the
students who's becoming better. Yes, of course. They proved it. Why would I not do that?
Yeah.
There's not even a blink in my head, right? It's instant. Man, this guy's working his ass off.
Yeah.
He's amazing. Let's fund him. He has a dream. Let's fund him.
How do you talked about your kids. How do you balance all of these different business ventures and also being a good father, a good husband, a good employer, a good entrepreneur, a good human, like all of, and then also time for yourself?
That's like the hardest question. First of all, I'm an okay father. I try to be the best father that I can. I cannot be always for them. I try to be as much as I can for them. So I won't miss the important days that they have to. Because if I miss the important days, they'll miss the important days later on when they grow up. You know what I mean? So, there's a deal there going on, So that's the thing. But, balance in life, when it comes to restaurant, there's no balance. That's
Are you happy with
if
that?
somebody tells you there's a balance when you're working in the restaurant industry and home, children, girlfriend, wife, husband, boyfriend, work, no, fuck that. There's no balance. No, absolutely not. Impossible.
Are you okay with that?
I'm not okay with that, and I'm trying to change that. More and more time goes by, I'm trying to organize those 24 deck of cards in the right position and play the cards right and towards family today.
Why do you think you're an okay father?
I think I'm an okay father because I don't spend as much as time as other fathers do with their children.
For the time that you do spend with your children, is it quality?
It's very quality. Yeah, I spend time with them.
Yeah.
I don't. There's not much, right? So I have to spend quality time with them. I always ask the questions, even if it's the same questions, even if it's the same things that I say. There's always that I said since they were born till today. It's never do something that you don't want others to do it to you. And I keep on repeating this every single day because it's important. This is one message that is. For me, is one of the most important messages. And the other thing is, I always ask them the basic things of life. Obviously, yes, I spend time with them. I was sanding the floor with my son for the deck last weekend, painting together. Those are times that, because we work together.
Yeah.
We talk together, and by doing that, we keep on asking, how's school, how's everything.
Yeah.
I always ask about school. I always ask about food. How you're eating, what you're doing. They're very interested in food too, so I'm very thankful about that. Conscious about what they're eating. It's a very difficult world. I have 4 children today. All 4 of them eat kind of different. They all have different dietary restrictions. So I get to learn a lot from that also. the new era, the new generation of what the children is today, right? So and I don't blame them.
Customer base,
I don't blame them. Some is, lactose intolerant, celiac, vegan, meat lover. Ooh, let's go. But I try to be a good father. But I am not. I'm a very straight father. So I don't. They can't play the game with me. So that's kind of like, it comes from my childhood with my father also.
I was going to ask you about your relationship with your father.
The relationship with my father was no relationship. What I mean by that is, my father was there, but he never spoke to me. He used to throw words once in a while. Never heard from my father until he died. Never heard. He never said, I love you. Not even once. My mom never did either until my father passed away. And I told my mother about that. And then she's like, oh, there was a little guilt. But my mother is, my angel. She's everything to me. She's giving me my life, and I'll not blame on my father how he treated me or what he did to me. There was a lot of violence at home. My father was a very violent man. He was came from a military background, so. But
How did that affect you?
made me stronger, actually. Yeah, my father really made me stronger. Beat me up and just became more stronger. So that's why I think all these things that came in my life made me who I am today. The hard times of, violent father, father who wasn't really into the son. He only cared about me going to university and studying hard and things like that. He hated me going to work in the kitchen. Hated, literally hated. My mom always was the support behind, saying, it's okay. My mom was the one who was always healing me after I got beat up by my father. That's another thing. But I don't blame them. And I don't want to go like, a lot of people say, but, maybe does your past has anything to do with your father who was violent to you and things? No. He made me stronger. That's how I see it. Yeah. I want to take myself and put it in a positive way.
Is it stronger or resilient?
Resilient. Yes, that's the word. Resilient. But also stronger. Strong-minded. Okay. Strong focus. Because when I want to do something, I go for it.
Yeah. Now that you have a son, is it one son that you have?
Two sons. 2 daughters.
So, as a father today, looking back on how your father treated you, is there anything that, how do I want to phrase this? What have you learned from being a father today that you wish your father did more of with you? Way you show...
Spend more time, talk more. Told me more about his past. Like
have a relationship.
Relationship, yeah. What was hard was I if I had something, if I had my father in front of me today, I would ask him, like, I want to hear your life story. I want to hear what happened. I want to hear because it's like nothing. Like, I know parts of it because my family talks about it, my aunt talks about it, my uncle talks about it and things like that. My mom talks about it, but I never heard from him. So I don't know his real feeling towards what he did in the past. How was his childhood? How was his school years? He was a great athlete. How did you end up becoming a great athlete? You used to play professional baseball. How did you do that? I wanted to know. I wanted to get into his brain, and that's what I do today with my children. Like, first of all, I tell them I love them 20 million times a day. But I also open up the book to them and I tell them what the mistakes that I've made and what I'm going to do. What I did well and is still doing good. And just keep on pushing them towards, because I believe that I'm their first teacher. You are, as a father, I'm my children's first teacher. So as a teacher, I should give them guidance. I should teach them, pave the road for them. And sometimes the roads are not always properly paved. It's bumpy sometimes.
Yep.
And I want to also show them.
Most times it's bumpy.
And I tell them, it's bumpy. It's going to get bumpy. It's up and down. But I want to be real to them. So I tell them that.
What are you hoping your sons take away from you, so that when they have a son and they want to teach them something, what are you hoping they learn from you?
To be better than me. To be always better than me. To learn from something that they didn't like about me, what I did, and to tell them and to change and to be opposite of that. Because that's what I'm doing towards my kids. From who my father was, how he treated me, I'm doing the opposite towards my children.
And you want them to continue to sort of learn to be a bit more compassionate with their children. Yeah. More compassion, more understanding. But also, there's one thing that I didn't let go from my father, and I'm still continuing with my children, is discipline. For me, that's very important. Obviously, I come from, my parents. My both parents are South Korean, they're Korean parents. So they're very disciplined. Their structure is like 1 is 1. 1 is not 2. Well, sometimes my father would say,
1 + 2 = 4, and it is 4. And I would say, yeah, okay, sure. I'm like, yeah, it's 4. Of course it's 4. But I tell them, if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. I'm not telling them I know everything. I'm telling them, I'm willing to listen to you and share my thoughts with you too. It's very important. Yeah. So it's like, I don't want them to say, we all know the story, right? When the kids are born, that is Superman. They get, when they're kids growing up, 3, 4, 5 years old, 7 years old, that is the king. He is the best. He's my hero. And then after, when he turns into 12, 13, is like, yeah, that is okay. He knows a little bit. At the age of 15, that knows nothing. And then, like, I know everything. And then he goes back. And then when they become older, they say, well, Dad knew a lot of things. Dad knew a lot of things. My dad knew a lot of things, but resilience, he gave me resilience, but he gave me discipline, which I will never let that go. Discipline. And the most important thing about my mom and my dad is they gave me life.
There's a sense of gratefulness.
Yeah.
And gratitude for that. If you can go back in time and speak to a young Antonio, the one that, I know you talk about it made you tough and gave you the sort of the strength and resilience that you have today. But I find it hard to imagine that there wasn't a point in time when a young Antonio looked up to his dad and said to himself, I wish you would just talk to me. If you can go back and speak to young Antonio, what would you say to him?
Talk to him.
Be the one to talk.
Yeah, because I wasn't that person. I was also like scared. It's mostly being afraid of your father.
Yeah.
So I was never able to connect with him because I was afraid. And if I was talking to the young Antonio today, I would tell him, you can go talk. Like, there's nothing wrong in asking me questions.
Yeah.
And even if he beats you up, keep on talking. So that's one of the things that I do with my children is open up. Come on, tell me.
You encourage the conversation.
Yeah. Say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, say it. It's okay. No problem. Because there's no violence. So they will talk about it.
Yeah. Well, they're not scared.
Yeah. In my life, there was violence.
Which is why you were scared.
So I was like, I'm not going to go there. I might get beat up again.
That's it's an interesting backstory because I could see how it shapes who you are today. I'm curious, what do you have coming up these days? What are you working on right now?
Oh, my Lord.
What's the most pressing thing that you're currently
right now
that you're super excited about?
I'm excited about Toronto. I'm excited about the Yorkville murals. There's an event called Yorkville Murals.
Yep.
And Alan, the head of the event, and my manager Andrew Kelly, he's my manager. Is just a great manager. I don't know, friend, manager, agent is just everything in me. And we're, for the first time ever in Toronto, we're doing a dinner on the street of Yorkville for 40 people with an artist called Dan Pham from Dallas. So she's I just had a meeting today with her, and she's her art, Dan Pham, very, very, very amazing artist. When you look at her art, I always think of her. I asked her today, you're from Jupiter or Mars or Pluto, or I don't know, because her art is very, very special, and so we're collaborating art, and it's about. I like to do a little bit different. I don't want to tell my story about food. I want to tell, because it's Yorkville Murals is about artists, I want to talk about their story through food. So today's question was, what do you love to eat? What do you, what will be the last food you want to eat before you die? What's the food that you eat the most? So I asked all these questions, and I'm going to make a menu out of it and use her art to be a part of it.
Wow.
It's very exciting. It's the first time ever that there'll be a dinner on a street of Toronto.
Yeah.
Very exciting. Yeah.
I wonder what the licensing and permits situation.
Yeah. No,
sounds like a headache to me.
Oh, we can't. Whoa. We'll talk about this after the event. And then the other thing that I have is I do have a couple of ventures happening in Europe, Middle East, a lot of things shaking over there. Yeah. No. I like. There's the possibility, which we're already in conversations in different ways. But Dubai, Riyadh, and Morocco. There's a lot of talks in there. We're moving forward in a bunch of things over there for expanding the business, and also the States. Las Vegas, Chicago, very interested. Texas, very interested. And this year, September, I don't know if, when are you guys airing this?
This will be in first couple of weeks of July.
Okay. So if you're listening in July, perfect timing, because Montreal has its first President's Cup. This year is the President's Cup, the PGA President's Cup in Montreal, at the Royal Montreal. And I'll be taking care of the F&B for I'm very excited for that, actually.
Congratulations.
Taking care of, for the F&B for the athletes, family, team, friends, and the PGA. I'm very excited for that. This is
it's huge.
Yeah, huge. Yeah,
congratulations.
Huge. Yeah, I love that. So I'm bringing a couple of friends. I want to do work together, and I'm just more and more what I want to do in the future, and what I'm positioning to do more and more in the future is to 35 years in the industry. I've made a lot of friends in the restaurant industry, obviously, and the hospitality industry, and wherever I go in any city or any country in the world where I go, I want to bring my friends and do events together, open restaurants together, because it's stronger together and it's more fun together.
I believe that.
Yeah. So I want to do that, and by doing it together, there's this positivity and synergy that grows within your friends.
Yeah.
And just to give you a heads up, there's a lot of events coming at AP in Toronto here at the Manulife building. I opened the restaurant called Antonio Park. Not my fault. I didn't put that name. That was my partner who decided to put my name on it. And I am doing a monthly collaboration dinner called Align the Stars. We already did with Montbar in Barcelona. Amazing restaurant. The second event that we did with Kasama Chicago, the first Filipino restaurant, the Michelin star restaurant in Chicago, the first Filipino restaurant that has a Michelin star in the world.
Wow.
They're just Jeannie and Timothy. They're just amazing chefs. They're amazing people. And then the third event that's coming in is from Sao Paulo, a restaurant called Evai. My very close friend Luis Felipe, who had one Michelin star. It's probably the best restaurant in Brazil, and he just got his second Michelin star just a couple of weeks ago. And if you're watching, I'm proud of you. I love you, and I'm so thankful that he accepted to come to Toronto and do a dinner together at AP together with me, collaboration with Evai. And these are the things that I want to do, man. I want to just collaborate with my friends.
Yeah.
Have fun, enjoy the times, and not only collaborate, do events, but also grow internationally in the platform of business.
Yep.
I think there's opportunities out there. Instead of there's opportunities that's happening, especially in the Middle East right now, where they're not building out one hotel, one building. They're building a city.
Yeah.
So when you build a city, for instance, there's in Riyadh, they're building, I don't know if you know about this,
that
Riyadh.
Big,
there's a big city that is building. It's a whole city that they're building. And I'm in talks with them, and I could basically bring 50 of my friends and open 50 different restaurants there. That's an opportunity. But that's an opportunity where I get excited, because I'm so excited to bring my friends together with me and do this together, right?
It's a very wholesome way of doing it.
So it's like let's not grow alone. Let's grow together as a team, as a family.
Yeah.
Hate should go away. Hate should not be a part of our life, first of all. And most importantly, racism should... I said fuck.
That's okay.
Fuck, it's time to...
End it.
Fuck you, racism. This is finished. This is one world.
It's overdue.
Yeah, it's one life, one world. We live in one circle. You know why circle? You know why circle is the most beautiful thing?
Why?
It goes and comes back. So it keeps on turning.
It's always connected.
Yeah. So, and I'm doing something very important, by the way. And this is the first time that I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to start working on something that is very important. We have a relationship between, and I'm working with Jason Lee from LA, with Andrew Kelly from Toronto, my friend, my manager, and things like that, where I want to create, I'm not creating, it's already been created. The relationship between our grandparents and our grandchildren is disappearing.
Yes.
The grandparents, the nonas in the world, and the grandmother and their home recipe that they got from their mother and their grandparents, we cannot let that go.
Agreed.
We have to keep that. I do understand that we're creating new food, fusionized food, all these cool things and fucked up shit. Yes, great. Innovations is great.
Yeah.
But let's not forget where we're coming from. And I want to try to make something that will connect our old generations to the new generations. And I'm going to do something that I'm going to ask all the parents to connect that. Because it's not the responsibility of the grandparents, not the grandchildren, but the parents.
The parents, the ones in between.
Yeah. So I'm going to do something about it to connect this. It can be, cooking classes. It could be reunions. It could be dinners. I want to do dinners at the restaurants. That is you're only invited if you bring your grandparents. Why not?
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a great. Yeah.
How many times have you brought your grandmother or your grandfather to an event? Even if it's a hip hop expensive, fuck that. Bring your grandparents. Have a sit down. Talk to them. Listen to them. See where they're coming from. Understand where they're coming from, and don't let that old culture, which has a lot of history. And I'm talking.
Don't let it disappear.
Don't let it disappear.
Yeah.
That has to survive, and that has to be transmitted to your children, to their children, which is our grandchildren.
Yeah.
So,
and then it just keeps passing.
Yeah.
Antonio, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for sharing this incredible journey. All these amazing things that you're doing. I'm so excited to see these come to fruition. You're spreading positivity here. You're spreading really good energy. Giving your team, your family wings to go and create and be, and encouraging them to be better versions of themselves. And when I asked you what you would say to young Antonio, I think if young Antonio were to see who you are today, he'd be very, very proud of who you are today. So
thank you.
That's
Thank you, my friend.
you're doing amazing things, and please keep it going.
Thank you.
And stay the way you are.
I'm gonna lose more millions, but I'm gonna keep on doing it. For sure.
Well, thank you for sharing the insight. It's wonderful, and I'd love to do a part 2 with you. As you continue to build out these amazing ventures. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Samir, for having me.
No, I appreciate you.
So nice of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you.